Hello everyone and welcome back. Today we are going to be revisiting Esper Midrange. I uploaded it 2 days ago, but obviously if you watched that video, I had some technical issues and I said I would come back to it. So here we are back with Decklist today with a little bit more range of decks that I played and more volume of matches. Outside of that, this deck is just a blast. I love this deck. I love playing it. I kind of merged two different type of Esper builds together to get to this point. I've had a couple of people say they love it as well. So let's just go out there and play the games. You know, if you enjoy my content, please, for me, subscribe. I truly appreciate it. And let's just go game. We go first. We can start off with the Rafine's Tower. I like having it in my opener more than, you know, drawing it when I've already played two lands and somehow had to force this into play somewhere along the way. On a red, okay. On a red starting off with Phoenix 6 is a little bit upsetting, but gotta deal with it somehow. Play a Plaza. We might be able to get lucky enough to be able to hold this in Ganjo, but if not, we'll Deep Cavern Bat. Hopefully take removal. Ooh, it's a big one. Big version of the deck. We take Charming Scoundrel, the better of the two drops. They don't have any direct burn right now. They still don't. Obviously, they're going to attack for 3. We no block, and then we'll play in Ganjo. Now, of course, they can play a Squee, but we can always block the 1/1. The life gain that this Deep Cavern Bat can potentially get us is going to be huge. I think this is remotely the worst card in hand. We gain 2 back. We have like a decently good blocker. They can play a Squee and attack, but we can also just pop this Phoenix chick. That's a bad idea if you're not sure why. It's because next turn they can bring it back. Oh! Giving me a free block. I like that. Thanks, opponent. Listen, sometimes you just have to decide if you're going to be the aggro deck or not. And because of this, I'm going to be the aggro deck. Life. A Deep Cavern Bat. And probably an Urtai. I'll gain 4 more life. And I'll gain 4 more life. So I'm up to 22 and I have a Shieldred in play. So now they have to decide whether they can play the Thunder Boy, but that relies on them attacking me. I think this has to attack, right? Whenever this attacks, it puts the counter. So now they have to kind of throw this in and sacrifice it. Maybe have it jump into the Shieldred and then they play with Fire Shieldred. But they won't have the mana for that. Or we can see them attack out, hit this with the big burn spell, and then hopefully for them they think that's enough. But then again, we still have this flying combo going on with the Deep Cavern Bat and Rafine that might be able to take over the game. All right, it is pass, I guess. They'll just play correctly. No point in getting crazy. They're fine to go. Shielded triggers, and then the game will be over. Get hit. Then I guess, you know, we'll just do the fun thing. We'll look at their hand, because you never know when a mono red player is going to come back. Oh, that's why they got salty and left. Oh man, it's okay, mono red. Okay, well, they timed out like we said they would, and we win that game. Very cool. Okay, my opponent goes first. No available black mana here, kind of sucks, but maybe we'll draw one. Maybe we'll start off with this. This land makes me want to be able to start with this, and then we'll play a Seacrum Coast and cycle the Virtue. Domain. Domain and domain accessories, huh? Just leyline binding. Blue, red, black, green, and white. Yeah. So let's try to Deep Cavern Bat. Maybe they'll use a leyline binding. Which. Ooh. Oh no! Oh, guess what? They're gonna play a Topiary Stomper next turn. Or a Briefcase. They have another binding. They're going big Kaya. I respect that. But guess what? We can actually shut off with that. A tie binder. Which is really cool. Briefcase, sure. We can also tie binder the briefcase, which is cool. Whether you knew that or not. Still an activated ability, and we can make it where they draw none. So here, definitely, we're gonna pass it up. Not really nothing else to do. Just cycle the virtue. They decide that nothing is what they want to do, which is possible, of course. Sure, I'll take my 1. There's no reason to overreact over the 1 and put this in the line of sight of this, because then they could crack this map, make the white, and then use a red to shoot it down. But now that we passed, I'll just make my 2/2. They want to ley line binding this, sure. Not really that concerned about it. Sweet. Combat. 2. Oh, down to 18. Sweet, and we pass. It's one of the better parts of having cards with flash on them. Why I like flash cards so much in general. Just me as a personal player. I had to have this tie binder saved up for next turn whenever they try to crack this briefcase to draw cards to get something more relevant, I would imagine. Let's use cut down now, because cut down's not going to be used at any other point. Ooh, Emperor's a great draw. That doesn't really kind of force me to play out this bat. Obviously, I'm not forced to play bat here, but against Domain, if you've played it enough, you know that you gotta kind of gotta start closing the game before they get to their big spells and they're circling herd migration, circling? Yeah, they're drawing on their own cards with Sharpie. Before they start cycling herd migrations and things like that, where they make 5/3/3s and you're just not able to keep up, or like we know they have a Kaya in hand, it's going to get definitely increasingly more difficult. Blue, green, red, black, white, if they want to do it. Obviously, they can do it in other colors that way, but what is, you could play Kaya. Archangel. Sure. We can do something cool here. Will you double target that, or are you going to target that and then target me? Sweet. So now we flash in the Emperor. You still have a mana for Leyline Binding, so don't be too hasty with the decision. But now we plus here, so it actually survives the 2 damage for the Archangel, which is very cool. Obviously, we could have Tidebindered one of those as well, but I like Tidebinder better. Other reasons. Let's give them the option to just trade this, to be honest. I think there's too many cards in our hand that our opponent's a little too afraid of. Like, this is always on retainer, so I don't think Leyline Binding's really where they want to be on hitting this or this or this. And now we can do this. Then off the battlefield. And then I can play another Plaza, because they're not legendary, so that's very cool. And then we can flash in the Tidebinder to either shut off this, because it still counters, or we use it to shut off this, because it'll still counter. And if they try to Leyline Binding the Tidebinder, again, the trigger still happens. This I do not care about. I couldn't care less. You can hit my Emperor if you'd like. Not that upset. Again, I have this 4/4. He's just trucking, dude. Look at him. There he goes. It also is a sign that they picked up another Leyline Binding, just so we're all aware. I don't feel like that's really worth cracking off. Could shut off that lane if we wanted to, but that Mirror Soaking isn't worth it. Dude, my glasses are like messed up, man. making me so upset. This will not sit right. I don't know what the deal is. Again, this mirror token cannot block. It's not a big concern. That's why I'm a little confused on the play of it, to be honest. Cards that they have to worry about are Urtai and things like that. Sure. Sure. Now, this is a card that I can get behind. Putting on a stack right away. They haven't drawn a land, it seems, which does suck, but we're going to hold on to this Tidebinder for the rest of our days. Getting Ganjoed here. Ooh, what are you leyline binding now? Or is it going to be the Rafine? Again, not a concern. Genuinely, I'm just going to ride this game out on this night here. Till they kill it or remove it, it's our princess right now. Again, I'm go. A little bonk in, and we pass. That's 3 leyline bindings up. Yeah. They're chilling. Again, these aren't that big of a concern. We are kind of wary of a Sunfall, which they might have to eventually use. They find a land, no cycle. They're wanting to cast this Kaya without cracking this briefcase, I think. Or can they even cast it? Is that the problem? No, they definitely can. 3, 7? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, so I'm not crazy. They just might think I have a make this appear, I guess. Attack, we don't budge. I am on the opposite of moving my cards any other direction than at your dome right now. You could argue that we invasion first and then attack the invasion, and maybe we could have brought something good back like this Archangel, but regardless, fine. We still have our blue available for our Tidebinder. We just don't put ourselves in a spot that we take damage regardless. Okay, that's what we've been looking for. Rather you not draw any more cards. They'll have to discard, and then they can play Kaya here, but it doesn't really do a ton. I mean, it does if they gain drain, or they can minus on something, and then we can cut down it, and then play Rafine, flip this, maybe hit something important, but Sunfall comes in. That is definitely an option. Land draw is good. Okay, maybe a different land draw. Exile target creature or enchantment, aura, create a tokenist copy of it. Get this down. Do you think we were just not fast enough? Eventually got to Sunfall. I wonder if Sunfall's been in their hand or if they did just truly rip it off the top. Huh? You have a 4/4. Really? Kind of risky, no? What are the odds that I can draw a Shieldred here? I think I've reached 1, 2, 3, 4. Got it. Sure. Again, what are the odds that I can... Well, it doesn't even really matter, right? I have protection. They have to have a board wipe. Or they can drain and gain, I guess. Move to combat. We're going to attack them to try to close, of course. Hit that card. Make it a little bit bigger. Can I play anything while also holding this up? I need 4. I'm just a little bit short. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then we don't have 3 mana, so I really can't. Then we just pass and just hope that it's Kaya being a dud, I guess. And of course, we always hinge on them making a mistake. Okay, after 3 timeouts, our opponent decides that rage quitting is the way to go. Only really keeping this off the back of these cards and the fact that we're on the play. Ooh, I'd like to keep. I don't know if this is necessarily a good keep. I don't necessarily think it is. Well, we're just kind of hoping that we can get a couple good draws here. We get a nice deep shore draw, which makes this and Ganjo potentially a spell. It just kind of depends what we're up against. Oh, let's throw this out. Not necessarily easy to remove right now. They seem to have a get lost, I would imagine. That's what that is. There's a Field of Ruin. We'll see a get lost get fired off now. They'll pay their ward, do their thing, do their business. I thought about playing Rafine here. What would they play this spot? I can play a Dark Slick, play Rafine, and then get the bat, but then we have to worry about Sunfall. Maybe they won't have another get lost just queued up and ready, so I kind of like playing this. The other option was to play Odawara and keep the Urtai up and then counter what they do on 4. But I'm not convinced that they do anything. There's the blue mana that we see for the first time this game. Upkeep. You're going to Field of Ruin and land. Do I want it? No. Sure. Have our 1 basic. They might not know that. They probably know that, but they might not know that. Double blue. Being still fitting real nicely into this hand. And crack a map. Let's take a look. I'll take an invasion. Invasion's always good here. Odawara seems a little bit more relevant than the Odawara seems a little bit more relevant than the Nganjo. So now we attack. Draw the invasion, and we let the betrayal go. We know why we let betrayal go here. So we pass. And now that should be even more complexing than anything else because this is obviously a nice good card, but their hand's pretty full here. So I'm not looking to cause any problems unnecessarily. I'm actually now gonna play the Odawara. I'm gonna move to combat. I'm gonna attack. Target here. We might see an Emperor. Be a get lost. You pay for this ward first. And then we'll Urtai the Hornlock Whale. Counter target spell or activated ability. Get the Hornlock Whale out. Because now, even if they draw land and then they Sunfall me, I still have the mana available. Deep Cavern Bat seems a little bit worse than what I currently got cooking up here. We hit for 4. Then we just pass. And if they don't Sunfall me, then I Virtue. If they Sunfall me, I make disappear. Huh? Ooh, to populate. I will make disappear. We'll casualty for the Urtai. Like to pay. I doubt it. You have a good card in there. You have a Hornlock Whale. We can then bring back the Bat even. And just kind of play that way. Fire this off. Well, we hit the other Bat. There's more counter spells. The only thing I'm really afraid of, if I'm to be afraid of something, is again Sunfall. Move to combat. Let's hit this. Not necessarily thinking. because I'd much rather make Rafine a lot more threatening as I can, as a lot of times against control you need one threat to be the end all be all. We could target something in our graveyard, and I think Deep Cavern Bat's the way to go here. Emperor. They get a couple of looks with their hand, so we just take the Emperor. We don't give them a free exile here. We play this land, and we kind of just sit here with our 9 available, maybe? I guess we go for a land draw if we can. Yep, sure. Now we pass, and now they have to draw it. If they draw it, you know, tough beats. If they don't draw it, a quick study, they're going for it. They do have a land drop. They could depopulate me. You hit it. Or get lost. Union. Good card. I don't think it's enough. Up to 18. Land drop. Elspeth Smite might be a thing. They're shielded for us, but obviously we're just attacking with what we currently have. Move it in. Obviously this can be smited. This cannot be smited. They can kind of, these can both be marched. So let's do this. Card 3 cards. We can make a really nice play with that, so we keep a hold of the land. Let's get this invasion out of here. If you're not entirely sure what our play is, basically let them think that they're going to be fine, and then we can cycle a Takenuma, picking up the Urtai out of the graveyard and then countering whatever they play here. Again, perfectly fine letting this resolve. They didn't pay attention to their mana, so they also could get screwed by that. But if you're unsure what our play was, just for clarity reasons, I will go over it just real quick. So legendary, even if we were one short, we'll use 1, 2, 3 mana. We'll cycle this Takenuma, milling over cards, but that's not what's super relevant. We have this card sitting in our graveyard. Our Takenuma will then grab this back, putting it back in our hand, and then we will cast it, countering anything like a Farewell, a Sunfall, or Depopulate, and then try, and hopefully that's enough to get through. Maybe they could have a Get Lost or something else in hand, and then we just have enough damage on board to win that game with that play. A small little play that you might not know. Opponent goes first. Our hand is kind of questionable for sure, but we're gonna keep it. Have not like a great comeback hand, but they did maul, and it is red. No Kamano on one, so that's kind of cool. Or in the third pack can actually pop that. You needed to get to my instep before you play with Fire Me. You know I played a tap land. Don't worry, I might have force negation big and scary. We're down to 3 cards, so it's definitely bat territory here. No other ifs, ands, or buts about it. We definitely go looking. Monstrous Rage bad. Chandra worse. I know that might be a hot take, but Chandra can get cards, it can make mana, it can ping for free. And here, ooh, we're gonna luck out a little bit, I think. We'll attack here. No, we're good. I'll just play another bat, and I'll take that Monstrous Rage. Thank you. Second Felden, you can hold that Felden all day. Nice legendary. Nice legendary creature. Now to some extent, I don't even want to remove this Felden because I'm just good. You know? I don't have to. I can basically negate what's happening right now. That's basically what's on board. I don't have to get too crazy about it. Play land. Play Shieldred. Call it a good day. Now they have to draw. Can't imagine this game's going to last much longer if they don't just draw an answer here. We'll see. Draw a burn spell. Did you draw exactly what you needed to either get this Shieldred off the battlefield or these Deep Cavern Bats? I'm not blocking that ever. No thank you. Finding way too much value in play. They draw another land. They're holding this up to potentially use its ability. We'll play Underground River. We'll play the Invasion. Make them discard this Felden, so that it's just not in the hand at all, in case we ever find a way to remove this Felden. And then we find a Rafine. As we draw a card, we gain 2 more life. Move to combat. Going here. These going here. Assume the combat's allowed to happen. It does. Triggers, the invasion triggers. I'm going to make a 4/4 come in. Probably what better 4/4 than their Felden? I'm just kidding. Probably could just be that, but I'm just going to make a Rafine. Then I'm just going to make a 2/2 if everything gets crazy. But red player is still sticking around until now. Never mind. They decided the bats were too much to handle. I'm going to go first. I mean, if this is aggro, we are incredibly excited about this hand. But seeing this hand means we're playing against blue-white Jace Mill. So we'll see what happens. Love to be proven wrong here. Blue-black. Be the blue-black, like kind of this deck, but just playing blue-black. It also could just be Esper. Seems like blue-black to me, though. Look, it's the mirror. You have cut down, maybe? Bitter? Or the rolling gates is Reanimator. We were so close. Alright, well, we're probably going to lose. The deck that, I don't know, is a lot of fun, enjoyable to play around is Reanimator. Finally make a decision after all that time. They put nothing on the bottom. I mean, definitely one of these. They have 2 mana, draw 2, discard 2, but they drew the card in hand. They're definitely on the slower end of what they normally want to be doing. Removal is not really in their forte, so this is going to be a slam Rafine and just start trucking as I can. Be the one deck playing make this Spirit Watch. Most of this priority is going to be on this Otherworldly Gaze holding it, or maybe this Tempest Heart. Attack. Cut down's not going to be worth it. So 1/3. I still think cut down right now is just not worth it. Otherworldly Gaze immediately. They need find the Reanimate card or another Cruelty of Gix. Does suck that I think Cruelty of Gix was 1 card too far away whenever they used the Prankster, I believe. Or whenever they used Otherworldly Gaze the first time, I think Cruelty of Gix was too far away that they wouldn't have saw that card, and then they end up using the Prankster and milling over the Cruelty. So, Emperor. Tough. Tough. I mean, they don't have the mill quite yet. I guess it's just like, play this in Ganjo, play this Shieldred. Hope it's enough. It has to be Otherworldly Gaze, I would imagine. We're going to put it on Rafine. Rafine's got that ward. They have cut down. Okay. My golly, dude. Please. Emperor is going to be too slow. We want to dodge cut down. Cut down's maybe like a 2 of in their deck, if I had to imagine. We might see a Prankster cycle here. Maybe a Tempest Heart cycle, but that wouldn't make any sense really to me. Have 5 cards. Only 1 of them is a non-permanent card, so they have 4 in there. They don't have like a big spell in there regardless. You have a go for the throat. No shot, right? Gets a cut down, and we got that gone. Tempest Heart, sure. They draw 2, discard 2. That's going to be 4 damage off our Shieldred. And there's the Atraxas and everything like that. I think they're just hoping it's not enough for lethal, but pretty much is. Keep highlighting this Rafine like it's a thing that they can remove. I'm not sure if they can or not. Moves of combat, double attack. Obviously, we target the thing with ward. Invasion and go for the throat. Invasion, not good, to be honest. Cut down, not the best. So if I discard 2, that's 4. That's 4. So I mean, we go for lethal, I guess. I could have got rid of the Rafine, I suppose. Here's 8. Just land pass. You have it. Looking. I get it. A little tough. Definitely a little tough. In some theory, in some way you could imagine like they might have a way to gain a ton of life. Like Union to the third path would be something idealistically. I'm just kind of rambling right now because they don't have a way to get out of this. Maybe they do. They do. Okay. All right. Well, what are you going to bring back? They found a way. They said good game, but they had a way out. So. Oh, well, I guess they don't have a way out, right? They're hoping I don't have a way to stop it. We hit it. This was a go for the. They would have to have the reanimate spell. And we get there, and surprise. I think most people know because they've played against that reanimate deck enough that normally when you're in best of 1 with what our hand was looking like, we're just like, they're just going to do the thing. Here they go. They're going to just combo off and kind of win. They just didn't do anything, really. They just didn't have the right cards at the right time. All right. Start off with Dark Slick Shores here. Because we have multiple 2-drops. We have a Shieldred that we can connect with these pieces. I would hope so. Human. Well, if that's the case, let's just get the Denic down and start getting that life gain up. Thalia coming down, like if we want to make this appear, sure, but also like go for the third later. Maybe Shieldred will be fine. Although humans a lot of times can outpace the Shieldred. Why I opted to maybe get a little bit more damage in early, because if they play Thalia, they're not going to want to block. Nothing. Okay, maybe a flash creature then. Hunt, by the way. Probably should have used the tower, but I guess we can always just cycle it as well. I doubt we get to turn 3 and they don't do anything. Big I doubt. No cavern so far. Looking pretty solid now. But because we do know that these decks enjoy playing cavern, we're going to use our counter spell now and hold on to the go for the throat for later. Oz is really nice. I think we just get it down. I think we play the Shieldred. We start taxing them immediately. Hitting them for 2, hoping they don't have like a Brutal Cathar or something for this. And even if they do, we can go for the throat it. But also attacking them, they might feel obligated to block with the Brutal Cathar. Like that. And then after that, we're going to play this Rafine's Tower. Most likely hold up this Plaza and just give Hexproof or Indestructible or many things like that. There's a green mana exposed. Okay. Giant number of others start control battlefield. Sure. Fine for now. Huh. I have become conflicted. Still think the pressure game is where I want to be. So let's get this off the battlefield, get our Shieldred back, and attack. Setting them at 10. Maybe they'll have another one of those. Not told that they do, but again, kind of sticking with that same game plan. Maybe I should have held this to, again, cycle it away. Maybe draw a card later to find maybe spot removal. But holding up his Plaza. Hexproof and Indestructible. Our opponent concedes. I'm curious what their hand was. To really just have like 4 mana. Do nothing on turn 1. Do nothing on turn 2. On turn 3, jam a Thalia. Turn 4, play another creature that was 1 under. It'd have been one thing if they were playing around like Make Disappear, but they really weren't. So, I don't know. A little unsure there. My opponent goes first. I mean, we have Cut Down, we have Make Disappear, we have Deep Cavern Bat, depending on what they're playing. And it's good. We don't have any white cards or white mana in hand, but it doesn't... Not like too big of an issue as long as our cards remain just blue-black for now. Not until we really draw those cards that it becomes an issue. I'm actually happy that that's the play instead of when they play a Spirited Companion there. A lot of times Spirited Companion can kind of tempo you out and make it an awful time. I think we hold up this Make Disappear over playing this Deep Cavern Bat. I rather use it to kind of target things down whenever their hand's a little bit thinner and they're truly in top deck mode. They don't have as many options as they do right now. I think they just played around it. So we could play this. I could play a Denic. Don't really like that too much. I could just play the Invasion of Amonkhet, take a card away from them. I like that. This could backfire pretty big, to be honest. Not really sure. Maybe they were holding on to some ossifications. Great draw, and we have the land to play it. The main reason I kind of want them to play it. Wrong creature. Not what I was talking about. Please don't Audacity that. Thank you. I was really hoping that this was going to play around. They don't have one in their yard. The 4-mana enchantment. Hopefully you know what I'm talking about. If you don't, you know, we'll figure it out together some other time. We're going to play this Deep Cavern Bat. Not really sure I care about this life-linked creature right now. Much rather target it. Whoa, Mamma Mia. That is tough. So, I mean, royal treatments are protection, but they have double up. If I take a royal treatment, then they ossification me, and then I can make the spirit, and then they can, like, pay for it, I guess. Then ossification doesn't really do anything, but then I can play Lauren, pop it. Is this anything? No, it's not. Do I care about them royal treating this? I don't think so. I think I'll just take the ossification. I know, like, normally the idea is, like, I'll take the protection away. But my plan is just Deep Cavern Bat, play a Denic, and then go from there. And I'll start trying to bully this invasion down. We get this Urtai to come in, try to remove it. They try to protect it, and then we try to remove it again. Spirited Companion, fantastic draw for our opponent. This isn't an enchantment, but this is. They draw a land. Go to attack. That's fine. The other thing about them attacking, though, is now they won't have blockers back. I think they realize that. So, it does suck for them. I can exhaust all these materials as well now that I have a cut down and a go for the throat. So, I'm going to attack here. Maybe they'll block and then try to protect it. And then we can cut down it. They'll try to protect it again and then go for the throat. Oh, and it's going to work out in our favor. I think. Oh, we can do it differently, though. So, on one hand, it's like, yeah, you shouldn't do that. So we cut down this, right? And now maybe they'll try to protect it again. The big issue is, well, they can play it on the backside on the Spirited Companion, but we hold to go for the throat for that one. Make this appear, getting the second one. They can't pay for it. And regardless, we get that off the battlefield. And then if they spend their entire turn to put it on the Spirited Companion, we can either Lauren it or go for the throat it. Or we can just play a Shielder and ignore it. There's a couple of things we can do. It's 3/3 protection from vampires, I think. I say I think, but I'm pretty positive that's what it is. Yeah, I mean, I'd much rather just use the go for the throat, though. Because then, I mean, I can't use that. Get that off the battlefield, it's gone, and that goes away. We move to combat. Might as well attack here and here. I guess we should just double attack this, because then the Deep Cavern Bat can come over the top and do it. And because we have a Denic in play, we're actually going to be able to cycle this Virtue, because if you forget, one of the modes on Plaza is we can make a mana of any legendary we control. That's the card. Let's go. I'm so happy that we get to do this. The one of Lauren. When it comes in clutch, it comes in clutch. We play this. We get to pop this off the battlefield, which makes me incredibly happy. Double attack face. Have that attack the invasion. And welcome to Mythic, Mr. Brick. Me. Jade Moore is my channel name. But yep, end of the season, we finally hit Mythic. But if you've been watching my channel for a while, you know your boy's been going through it this month, and it's just been a nightmare. So I'm really glad we got there, at least at the end. You know, it'll be short-lived, and then a new set will drop, and then I'll lose to a lot of mono red, and we'll move on. What is there to say? I think a couple people in my channel already agreed that this deck is really solid. I personally am a big fan of it as well. The only real thing that I think will be changing if I end up playing this before the new set drops, which I kind of doubt. I don't know what I'll be doing. Maybe I'll be playing a little bit more timeless. I'm not entirely sure. Timeless hasn't seemed to done too well, and I think a little bit of that is because everybody's learned it's kind of just a Rakdos fest. At least everything I've saw, it's either you're playing mono green Titan, or you're playing Rakdos, or you're playing like a 4-color Omnath pile. Pretty much all I see, or a deck that's just trying to do something crazy. So maybe timeless in the future until we get to this new set. Maybe not entirely sure. If you have other suggestions, maybe let me know what you want to see, and I can maybe make that happen. Outside of that, let's just talk about this deck a little bit. I'm so happy that we took Malcolm out and put the Tie Binder in. Just having that flash creature is so incredibly nice. Just in terms of maybe on one end step, we just want to flash in a 3/2 that'll hit our opponent, especially when we're playing against control. A lot of times, just it's the old Brazen Borrower effect, where you flash it in and then you untap for your turn. They're holding interaction for your turn. You swing the 3/2, not using your mana. They do nothing. You pass, and then you just sit in this awkward game where they're so afraid to tap out for that because you might resolve a Liliana, even though we don't play it. We might resolve a Liliana, we might resolve a Sorin, something that they can't really deal with too efficiently, or they use their removal and then I deep cavern bat them and take their other removal that they thought they were going to be able to hold on to, and now there's a Shieldred in play and it's troublesome. So there's a lot of things that we can do with this deck that are pretty hard for our opponents to handle, and I like it a lot. Rafine being probably the best reason to splash for all 3 colors. Like, you could argue just play blue black, that's what a lot of people do anyway, but Rafine is so nice and it helps you draw out of so many games where you think they're completely lost. And this is one of the few decks you also get the incredibly high upside of the channel lands. Sometimes these are just in here over basics, is generally the consensus on these cards. Is, do you play basics? Play one of these instead. But the amount of times I've done kind of a Takenuma cycle plan with grabbing an Urtai back and using it as a counter spell, and it's become a lot easier because, say on turn 2 I played a Dennick, then I played a Rafine. This costs 2 less for 2 mana. I grab back the Urtai or something. It just becomes really efficient. Virtue of Loyalty is good. The Emperor has been nice. Lord in the third path is a one of's been nice. I know in best of 3 the Lord Skitter is really cool. A lot of times the best of 1, I don't ever truly feel overwhelmed as long as they don't play a Rafine after. It's kind of like that 1-2 punch where it requires a Rafine, but it never generally happens, so I've never been that concerned about it. Outside of that, I love playing this deck. I basically, this is the version that I kind of end up coming with on my own, kind of just looking at the meta and seeing what versions were out there, and I kind of looked at both lists and said, what if I kind of just smush them together, you know, and play one Esper mid-range deck, and this is what it came out to. So I hope you all enjoyed the video. I'm going to call it there. It's been pretty long so far, so if anybody's made it here, just put potato in the chat and nobody will know but us, and we'll just see what happens. So thanks for watching. I hope you all have a wonderful day, and I'll catch you later in the next one. Goodbye.